What does the future mean if you have no Bitcoin? Imagine waking up one morning. The world outside feels the same. The coffee tastes the same. The sky looks the same. But the financial system you rely on has quietly shifted beneath your feet. This isn't science fiction. This isn't some distant dystopia. This is the path we're already walking today, and most people don't even realize it. Ask yourself this: what does the future really mean if you have no Bitcoin? Because the truth is, the world is dividing, not between rich and poor in the old sense, but between those who hold an asset that governments can't print and those who are left clinging to money that loses value every year. You've seen it happen: prices rising, groceries doubling, housing feeling out of reach, and yet your paycheck doesn't stretch the way it once did. Now imagine projecting this forward 10, 20, 30 years. Imagine a world where your life savings, your retirement fund, the nest egg you worked decades to build, is worth less than the rent for a small apartment. It sounds unthinkable, but that's the destiny of fiat money. It always trends towards zero. History has proven this. Every empire, every nation, every currency ends the same way. But Bitcoin is different. And if you don't own any, even a small amount, the future may look far darker than you expect. Think about what happens when the majority of the population realizes too late that Bitcoin isn't just internet money, but the foundation of a parallel system, one that rewards savers instead of punishing them. When that shift hits, when adoption crosses the invisible threshold, when institutions and governments themselves start hoarding Bitcoin to survive, what happens to the average person who never prepared? Here's the uncomfortable truth. The people without Bitcoin won't even notice right away. Their lives will look normal on the surface, but slowly, invisibly, they'll lose more and more of their purchasing power. At first, it's just coffee costing a little more, then the rent rising faster than wages, then savings accounts becoming pointless, until eventually, ownership itself feels impossible. And the people who do hold Bitcoin, even modest amounts, will begin to drift away into another class entirely. Not because they're smarter, not because they worked harder, but because they saw the writing on the wall and acted before it was too late. So what does the future mean if you have no Bitcoin? It means you are playing a rigged game, and every year the rules get worse for you. You'll work longer hours, but get less in return. You'll save diligently, but watch your savings melt. You'll plan for retirement, only to realize the system stole your time through inflation. Meanwhile, Bitcoin holders will experience something extraordinary: a reversal of the trend. Instead of money melting in their hands, their savings will grow stronger the longer they hold. For the first time in history, money favors patience, discipline, time preference, and that changes everything. Let me paint you a picture. Two families living side by side in the year 2040. One family has no Bitcoin. They work just as hard as their neighbors, but their income barely covers essentials. Their retirement plan is underfunded, and their children are burdened by debts they never asked for. The other family modestly stacked Bitcoin decades earlier. They didn't chase luxury cars or wasteful spending. They simply saved in a form of money that couldn't be debased, and now their children inherit stability, opportunity, and freedom. Two families under two futures. The difference isn't luck, it isn't intelligence, it's whether or not they own Bitcoin. That's why I say the real divide of the future is not left or right, not rich or poor in the traditional sense. It's those with Bitcoin and those without. Governments already know this. Why do you think they are scrambling to launch central bank digital currencies? Why do you think they monitor crypto markets so closely? Why do you think major institutions quietly accumulate Bitcoin, even while dismissing it publicly? Because they know, A money they cannot control is the single greatest threat to their power. And if you don't own even a fraction of that money, your future is one where you remain under their system, a system that will demand more and give you less, year after year. Now let's go deeper. Imagine a future where Bitcoin becomes the global reserve asset, not the dollar, not the euro, but Bitcoin. In that world, those who hold none are forced to constantly exchange their failing local currencies for something stronger. And each year, that exchange rate becomes more brutal. It won't feel like one catastrophic event. It will feel like death by 1,000 cuts, until one day, you wake up and realize the future belongs to those who saw it coming, and you were left behind. But here's the hidden truth most people miss. You don't need a full Bitcoin to protect your future. Even a fraction, even a sliver, could one day mean the difference between surviving and thriving. Think of Bitcoin like land in Manhattan. In the early 1800s, you could have bought acres for pennies. Today, a single square foot costs fortunes. Now imagine being the person who shrugged and said, "I don't need land. I'll just rent forever." How does their future look now? That's the danger of ignoring Bitcoin. It's not just about missing gains. It's about missing a once-in-human-history shift in how money works. So when I ask, what does the future mean if you have no Bitcoin? The answer is simple. It means dependence. It means vulnerability. It means playing by rules you can never win. But with Bitcoin, even in small amounts, the future suddenly looks different. It looks like sovereignty. It looks like freedom. It looks like you're no longer at the mercy of someone else's printing press. Most people won't get this. They'll dismiss it. They'll laugh at it, and they'll continue walking toward a future where their efforts are drained by inflation. But the few who take this seriously, who quietly accumulate, who save instead of spend, will wake up one day to a very different reality. That's why you're here. That's why you're listening to this message. Because deep down, you know the future is already being written. And you have a choice. Either remain on the side of those who own nothing, who struggle, who depend on systems that were never designed to help them, or step into the other side, where even a small act of preparation today can echo for generations. The question isn't whether Bitcoin will matter. The question is whether you'll be on the right side of history when it does. Because the future is coming fast, and it will not wait for you to be ready. So I'll ask you again, what does the future mean if you have no Bitcoin? It means the game has already been decided, and you've chosen to remain a spectator. But if you act now, if you step into the hidden knowledge most people ignore, then one day, your future self, your family, your children will thank you. Don't wait for the world to prove you wrong. By then it will be too late. If you found this message valuable, share it with someone who needs to hear it, like this video, subscribe for more, and join the small group of people preparing for the world that's already on its way. Because one thing is certain, the future is coming. The only question is, will you face it with Bitcoin or without it?